I invite you all to settle down. Kindly find a seat to those who are still standing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the official closing ceremony of the 2026 SADC Sustainable Energy Week. You would agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, it was just a moment ago when we officially started the Sustainable Energy Week. And here we are closing it, hoping that the goals, the aspirations that we had at the beginning of the week have translated into a roadmap for an energy secure region, as well as a brighter region for all our citizens. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our honorable ministers of energy across the region who are still with us, honoring your excellencies, from the various embassies here present, acknowledging the presence of our honorable deputy ministers who are still with us, as well as senior government officials who continue to be with us as we prepare to close this ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, allow me to invite our host minister, the Honorable Minister of Energy and Power Development, to take the stand. He will be joined by the Senior Program Officer, Energy SADC Secretariat, Mr. Moses Ntlamele, as well as the Executive Director of SACRI, Mr. Kudakashi Ndlukula. May I request Honorable Sir to lead, and as you take your seats here, a round of applause as they take their seats. Moses? Oh. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Our official closing ceremony is for us to understand and get the reflections for the week, the commitments that have been made, as well as the next steps once we leave this room today. At this point, we want to invite Mr. Moses Ntlamele, who is going to give us the SADC Week outcome statement, recommendations, as well as takeaways. A round of applause to Mr. Ntlamele as he takes the podium.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator or Facilitator. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, honorable ministers, ambassadors, the participants from all sectors of economy, to write on the protocol that was set since Monday. AOPs, all APOs are opposed. Anyway, let me also still recognize your Honourable Minister, our host, and my Executive Secretary, His Excellency Ndetema Khosi, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, I've been assigned, should anything wrong happen in my presentation, I should be held accountable. But anything that is good in the presentation should be as all the glory should be sent to His Excellency Ndetema Khosi. Let me go straight into the statement without wasting too much time. As you are all aware that this SADC 2026 SADC Sustainable Energy Week was hosted here in the great Victoria Falls of the Republic of Zimbabwe under the theme of the driving regional economic growth and clean energy and energy efficiency. We are all can testify to that. We have seen observed and seen the proceedings. The key highlights of the event as projected: one, this Sustainable Energy Week deliberations highlight several challenges that are related to availability, accessibility, affordability, the energy infrastructure technology that is lagging in terms of the development. We even heard so many about the issue of the trilemma. Honorable ministers, distinct delegates, the conference, Sustainable Energy Week, further highlighted technological and financial solutions that should be taken into consideration. This morning we had the ADB and the World Bank presenting what they are intending to, or the background in terms of the energy compacts in our region. We also observed some key highlights in terms of the challenges. One being the substantial financial resources that are required for energy infrastructure, development of energy infrastructure, the inadequate infrastructure, transmission infrastructure capacity in the region. We've heard yet, I think this was well alluded by Honorable Minister from the Republic of Zambia. Access to electricity to SADC region is still low. From the presentation from His Excellency SADC Executive Secretary, giving the figures yesterday in the official opening. And then we'll also realize the fragmented regional collaboration in terms of the policy harmonization, which are limiting development of these important regional or priority regional projects across the region. Now the take home. We observed that this was not attended only by government officials. As recommended, the participants were drawn from the SADC member states, mainly ministries, departments responsible for energy, regional organizations, and the continental organizations, as well as the international cooperating partners and the agencies of these international organizations, as well as the private sector. We really appreciate the presence of the private sector in this event. Sorry it was not captured, but this will be updated. So now the outcomes that we are recommending as a organizing committee to be taken to the further implementation through the structures of SADC decision-making organs, and which also can be implemented at national level. One, the 2026 SADC Sustainable Energy Week recommended that there should be facilitation for implementation of memoranda of understanding and agreements, decisions and resolutions that are taken at these regional events, and convert them into time-bound deliverables without further delays. I think this was a key message that came from His Honorable, the Vice President of the Republic. Two, expedite the development of the remaining interconnectors that are aimed to connect Angola, Malawi, and Tanzania to sub-grid. We saw that the targets now we are looking to 2028 and towards 2030. We hope that all 12 member states will be interconnected. Three, we have to accelerate access to energy, especially electricity, to reach universal access by 2030, as enshrined in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, Paris Agreement, our own RIASAP, as well as the resolution that were taken by the Summit of Heads of State and Government that were hosted by the Republic of Tanzania, which took the declaration on Mission 300. The SEW further recommended for review and harmonization of policies and regulations that will allow the private sector to participate in the development and implementation of all energy projects from upstream, that is from generation, in fact, even from the planning and the designs. Their implementation at upstream, midstream, transmission, and downstream, and retailer, that is the distribution at the local level. Five, the The conference recommended the scaling up of the solar thermal technologies, policies, regulations, and capacity building and innovation for solar heating and all forms of solar thermal applications. We had a separate or parallel workshop on Monday under Salt Train, which is supported by Australian Development Agency, and this came from that. 6, we have the conference recommended for facilitation and adoption of harmonious energy efficiency standards and labeling initiatives. And this would promote to prioritize financing of energy efficiency as one of the first fuel, but because anybody can embark on undertake energy efficiency without any cost. 7, promote productive use of energy through micro, small, medium enterprises to promote green jobs and, of course, economic growth in all, especially in the rural areas in peri-urbans. Number 8, intensify exploration of value addition in critical minerals and emerging energy technologies such as green hydrogen to support industrialization and the green jobs. This was also, I think it was alluded to by one of the ministers. Yes, not I think so, it was actually alluded by one of the ministers yesterday, Minister of Botswana. Number 9, consider electrification of transport sector and harmonization of charging standards to ensure that electric vehicles in the SADC region, the adoption of the electric vehicles in the region and e-mobility. And this, of course, had to be undertaken in collaboration with the ministers responsible for transport, because it's about movement of goods and people from one place to another. 10, the advocate for diversification of the energy sources in the region, in the regional energy mix to include cleaner resources of cleaner energy resources such as utility scale solar PV systems, being the CSPs, then the floating solar power plants. This was discussed eloquently. Even the minister during one of the dinners, he was referring to this technology that we have to explore into. Of course, even Seychelles made reference to that. They already have this in place where we can learn from. The clean coal technologies are still outstanding in our region. Let's see how bad they can be improved. And as well as the modular nuclear power plants in the region, as we have other countries, the vast resources in terms of uranium, such as Namibia, Malawi, to mention by a few. Number 11, the conference recommended for intensifying policies on budget allocation to increase energy access in line with the trilemma, or which are the trilemma which is defined in terms of the 3 corner pillars on energy security, reliability, energy equity, the issue of access and affordability, and environmental sustainability. Number 12, support the United Republic of Tanzania in championing the promotion of clean cooking systems and initiatives in the region. As this has been discussed, it is also outcome of the Mission 300 summit. 13, we have to integrate the thematic resolutions that are relevant to SADC from the South Africa's chairpersonship during their chairpersonship during the G20. There are resolutions that were taken there in the energy subsector, even on cross-cutting issues. But all those that are relevant to SADC, let's see how we also incorporate them in the region as they can benefit South Africa and the entire region. Number 14, we have to intensify collaboration in terms of capacity building and knowledge sharing, especially between the mainland member states and the oceanic member states. It has been observed that the oceanic member states, sometimes they feel like they are left behind in terms of moving forward. Our ES even mentioned in the remarks that they can join the regional organizations such as RERA and SAP in particular for knowledge sharing. 15, we have to empower the regional project implementation agencies, particularly such as impactful projects such as Batoka, Grand Inga, Mpandanguwa, Mozambique, the Zizabona interconnector, to ensure these projects they get the funding that is required from the international and the national funding agencies. 16, The SEW recommended to the Regional International Initiative to support women and youth in the renewable energy initiatives. This is water, please. We are almost there. Thank you. The issue of youth, women and youth is very critical. And we at the conference, you know, we even had these parallel sessions, but I think, anyway, it's not for me for discussion, but this is it's a resolution, it's an outcome. Let's see how best they're supported. Number 11, 11 member states that have already completed and launched their national energy compacts. The list is there. I don't want to go through one country to another. But also we are aware that there are other countries that already have, they are advanced in terms of energy access, such as Mauritius and South Africa and Seychelles, also to continue encouraging them to implement the sustainability of what they already started in terms of energy access and the security of energy supply. Then number 18, this 2026 SEW also observed that the Republic of Angola and the Kingdom of Eswatini, have not yet completed their initial energy compacts. So it's a recommendation that they have to expedite the processes in terms of the consultation, the validation, of course, even the approvals and the launching at national level or in the international forum like others did. Number 19, commend the World Bank Group, the ADB, and other international cooperators for supporting and spearheading this development of the national energy compacts, and of course, looking forward for their further support in terms of their implementation. Lastly but not least, this conference also is hereby requested to recommend to the Committee of Ministers responsible for energy to commend the Republic of Zimbabwe, the Republic of Zimbabwe for successfully hosting this event, 2026 SADC Sustainable Energy Week, as well as the Kingdom of Eswatini for acknowledging to host the 2027 Sustainable Energy Week. With this is done here in Victoria Falls, Muswatunya, Zimbabwe, on this day of the Lord, 2026, February 2026. Delivered on behalf of His Excellency, Executive Secretary of SADC, Dr. Les Bajos. Obrigado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moses Ntlamele, for officially unveiling the SADC statement regards the SADC outcome statement regards the Sustainable Energy Week. And we also appreciate the recommendations that have been put forward and the takeaways that have been listed, which I believe should form part of our plans as we leave this place. Another round of applause for the SADC Secretariat. I will now invite the Executive Director of SACRI to give us an administrative wrap-up of the 2026 SADC Sustainable Energy Week and any administrative announcement regards the 2027 upcoming week. Mr. Kudakwashe Ndlukula, a round of applause to him.
Thank you so much, Director of Proceedings. If you may allow me to ride on the protocol already observed, I would like to, Honorable Minister July Moyo, if you may allow me. I'm not going to give vote of thanks, but if you may allow me to just extend some gratitude, thanks on behalf of SACRI as the co-host of this event. So, Honorable Minister, I would like you to please extend our gratitude to His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa for allowing us to have this event in this country. Above all, for himself taking the initiative to grace this event, which we all know was graced by, to which he delegated his Vice President, General Retired Honorable Dr. C.D.G. Chiwenga. Please extend our gratitude to the Vice President that his remarks were not just spot on, but they called us to action. And for sure, please assure him that we are going to take his words, his command, we put it into action. I would also like to thank His Excellency Mr. Elias M. Mahosi, the Executive Secretary of SADC, for his leadership, guiding us in the preparations for this event. We really appreciate for that. But Honorable Minister, this is a special thank you to you. You've been so meticulous, paying attention to detail, giving us instruction to every detail, things that we took for granted, but you would then call us to say, have you looked at this? Have you done this and that? We really appreciate that guidance. It helped us to make this event successful. To honorable ministers, international partners, heads of representatives of respective member states, and all invited delegates, partners, sponsors, we feel humbled. You know, we're still a young organization as SACRI, very young, except me, I'm not young, but the organization as such is pretty young. It is an honor to see this huge gathering from all corners of the world coming in, supporting us, first of all with our inaugural event in Gaborone, Botswana, now to this grand event in Victoria Falls, the mighty Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. We really appreciate, we are humbled, we plead and ask you to continue supporting us. I want to extend this gratitude on behalf of my colleagues, the SADC subsidiary organizations here, SACRI, of course, the organization I represent, SAP, RERA, KGRTC, who are here to serve you. Please guide us, support us, so that we can serve you well. I thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in Eswatini in 2027. The kingdom is ready to receive us. The key recommendations that were made, it's a call for action. We have heard you, you have told us you don't want another gathering which is a talk shop. When we gather in Eswatini, we would have done extensive background work, we would have reviewed your recommendations. We are going to give you an update to the extent of implementation of these recommendations. Not only these ones that were made here in Victoria Falls, but even those that were made in Gaborone, Botswana. We're going to give you an update as to what extent we've implemented these recommendations. So with this, again, I say thank you. Of course, this is the official closing ceremony, but there are still activities taking place as I was guided by the Director of Proceedings, just to highlight what is happening next. We have got some closed sessions this afternoon that are taking place, some meetings. I think the business-to-business meetings will still continue. But above all, tomorrow, there are very exciting opportunities, exciting activities that are lined up. We have got, I think there's a QR code that is put on the screen. Please select the site that you would like to visit for the excursion. There are 2 sites which are part of the excursion. So you can scan, use your phone, please scan and identify which site you would like to visit. But also parallel to this, there is the golf tournament which is taking place. We also want to see you there at the golf course. With these remarks, I again say thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndlukula, for your notes and appreciation regards you, the organization of this event. We have come to a befitting moment where we allow our host to give the closing, to bid us farewell, and to thank us for coming through to participate in this event that he has so successfully hosted for us. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to call upon the Minister of Energy and Power Development in the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable J.G. Moyo, to give us closing and a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. And let me say, I want to to salute the moderators. And I think all of us, not just these two, who are the principal moderators, but I attended so many sessions where the moderators were there. I don't know how they were selected, but they seem to have run the sessions very well. So please join me in thanking all the moderators. Our Executive Secretary of SADC, Honorable Your Excellency Elias Makosi, and in front of you still are ministers who came to this, as well as heads of delegations from all the SADC countries. I think we owe it to you to salute you for leading us the way you have done. Other executive directors would probably have come to open, because you are Your Excellency, and left. But you have been sitting here with ordinary people while you are in excellence. So we want to thank you very much. Yes. Ministers who are here, some have become too close colleagues, and the others have become really sisters. And I want to say you have stayed, you came, you are still in Victoria Falls, and we hope that you will still be in Victoria Falls until Sunday. Pray with us on Sunday, and we will enjoy it. We have an organization which I think is doing very well. And by the show of people's interest who are still here, and you need to be up here to see the seriousness of the faces that I'm looking at. And they have been like this for the last few days. I think we should salute them, and as they salute themselves. Last year, I attended a workshop where the power pools in Africa was held, and there were two ministers who were called to that workshop. I think our Southern African power pool can attest. The one minister was from Nigeria, and I was from Zimbabwe. This was in Japan. After the presentations, we in Southern Africa did not just demonstrate that we have the oldest of the power pools, but that in fact we are ahead of the pack. And it was gratifying. After, I think, one session or two sessions, when ours was presented, the Nigerian minister just disappeared. And we remained until the end. And so your organization is viable not only because of SAP, but because of the organizations that were created, SACRI is one of them. To have the youngest of the institutions that you have created making such a huge impact by organizing 2 big conferences, I think we need to salute again your guidance. The SAP, the Kafue Gorge Training Center, and the other SADC institutions of energy should be calling us to do the same, so that we zero in on the Southern African Power Pool. We see how our training is going, so that we can integrate, because out of that training, we can actually integrate some of the processes that we have been talking about. And above all, our RERA. RERA in my language means you, what do you call it? You bring up, you cuddle. It's a young baby that must be looked after. So our RERA, which is our regulators, must look after us. And we need to deepen their understanding. And these ministers will deepen it when we come to the next session in South Africa, as they lead us this year, in the Committee of Ministers of Energy and Water. We want our regulators to assist in the keeping of us in using the regulations that have been crafted by them as recommendations, and we take the decisions. They will not take the decisions. These ministers will take the decisions through you, Executive Director. In a way, when our president, through his vice president, said it's a call to action, these are the frontliners of how those actions should be taken in the SADC region. And SACRI has just given us a menu of several things that we need to take action in. So we salute all of them. Yes, our president is sending 2 of his vice presidents, and there are only 2, by the way, to this conference. Vice President Chiwenga came to officially open, and Vice President Mohadi is coming today to make sure that he visits. He also wants to come and visit the exhibitions before he attends to the teeing off, where I was told 90 people had already signed to participate in the golf tournament that is going to take place tomorrow, and it will end up with the prize giving as usual. So he has sent his 2 vice presidents so that they can join you in making sure that what you are leading is accepted, not only in terms of the deliberations, which were very thorough, and the conclusions that came out of those deliberations, which also have been captured very well, that these 2 vice presidents can report directly. Of course, I have a duty to report to Cabinet about the same things, but supported by 2 vice presidents and members of the Politburo, as I said in my remarks in welcoming you, that we have 2 members of our high organ called the Politburo, one responsible for the economics of this country and another one responsible for minerals and energy. They are here throughout, and that indicates that supervision is assured by the ruling party. All the countries, all the cooperating partners, and the private sector are also called upon to take action in their individual capacities as corporates, but in some cases as bodies that are organized, because I know that business is organized, cooperating partners are organized, the World Bank and the African Development Bank and their cooperating partners are already organized. That's why we have Mission 300. So they also should be able to come and report and take action as we move to Eswatini next year. But for us in the energy sector, because we meet as a committee of ministers, we can still report so that we see progress sometime in the middle of the year, this year, and as we prepare to go to Eswatini. I want to particularly thank our speakers. And can you imagine, 103 of them, there was a lot of talking. Serious talking, but also well-researched in some cases. And I want to thank them, just as I was thanking the moderators. I think they made the moderators' job become easier because they prepared for it. And I want to thank all of them. And the participants, Ndukula, when he came, we were asking the numbers, because when you are mobilizing resources to host such a thing, we were asking the numbers, he said 500. Now he brings over 1,100. And I remember one of our sponsors, the welcoming cocktail, he was asking, we prepared for 500. Now I understand there are more. What do we do? They had suggested we give tickets to 500. I say, you are crazy. They go around saying there is a man called July Moyo who is so stingy. And so we had to persuade the organizer and the sponsor to say, everybody who is registered is going to participate. And you participated. And we want to thank. That's the amount of pressure sometimes he was putting on me, and I was retaining the pressure also. So we want to thank all the participants. We want to thank the service providers. We want to thank the hotels where you stayed and where we here at Elephant Hills, where we have put too much pressure on them. But we want to thank those who have been doing accreditation. I'm sure that everybody got accredited. So that's why we have the numbers. The drivers, the protocol teams. We want to thank the media, both the hired and the non-hired. The non-hired and the hired. But we want to thank them because they have captured what we have been doing. And we want to thank them. And I want to particularly thank our organizing committee. Yes, we had to appoint our chief director in the ministry as the chairman of our organizing committee for Zimbabwe, under the supervision of the permanent secretary. But I know that SACRI and SADC also had people appointed to make sure that they work with us. So I want to thank them because some of them, I told them from our side to say, you split into two. Some of you are responsible for organization. You don't belong to this hall. You are out there organizing. You only come in the hall to consult. And those who are doing content, obviously we want the content. We want you to be knowing what is happening. And I think they have done a good job. So I want to thank all of them. Our interpreters, we have decided, SADC through you and our heads of state, that we are multilingual. And therefore, in organizations such as this one, we must always have simultaneous interpretation. And even though my sister speaks more fluent English than me, because she wants to make sure that SADC sticks to the principles, she sometimes goes back to Swahili. And we have to interpret. And interpretation was done. So we want to thank all the interpreters. Sometimes I think they were working longer than normal. And that is a donation to the organization. Once you work longer than necessary, there was no overtime. And our partners, those who sponsored us, Soul Train, the Austrians who were here, the World Bank, African Development Bank, and there are so many of you who sponsored. In the exhibitions, they did not just exhibit, they also sponsored us. And in a way, every single one of you sponsored us. You sponsored us as a speaker, you sponsored us by registering and paying some money. So all of you have been sponsoring this organization, and I want to faithfully thank all of you for doing what you have done. I think I want to end by wishing all of you to go back and look at the exhibitions. I think we were too serious in the discussions. Some of you might not even have stepped to see the exhibitions. Let's look at the exhibitions because they inform us about our deficiencies and about our possibilities as we want to value add. And energy, if it is value added, it will also mean our mining has value addition, our agriculture has value addition, all the sectors of the economy that we work for as an enabler, as the energy sector of SADC, we will have enabled them as well. So let's look at them. And for those living today, and some have already left, I wish them safe journey. And for those who are still here, please go and enjoy by visiting the Victoria Falls itself, like we did yesterday. Some of you did not want to go because it was raining. And it's a wise thing. But when you go there, it will still be raining. So, so please go and visit the Victoria Falls. And as Ntukula has said, there are still more activities to be done. But I wish to close this conference by thanking all of you and say, have a good journey, but have a good stay in Victoria Falls. I thank you.
Honourable Minister, thank you very much. I think the Honourable Minister deserves another round of applause. You know, it's... You know, when you often listen to a vote of thanks, you think to yourself, well, he forgot so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. But as was indicated yesterday, I think it was His Excellency, Elias Makhosi, who said that the Minister is extremely thorough. So, Honourable Minister, we are very, very grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close this afternoon, we do so with deep gratitude and real momentum. Over the past days, we have not only exchanged ideas, we have shaped direction. We have affirmed that energy is not a technical conversation alone. It is a development imperative about livelihoods, competitiveness, industrialization, and dignity for the people of our region. We've heard the outcome statement and recommendations. We've received the wrap-up, an announcement of hosts for the 2027 SADC Sustainable Energy Week, which will be held in Eswatini. We've been guided by the closing address and we've been anchored by the vote of thanks from our honourable host minister. So as we end, we carry one message forward. Implementation, ladies and gentlemen, is the new currency. And the partnerships formed here must now become projects delivered on the ground, at pace and at scale. A few announcements before we close. A few closed meetings. The Akara Agri-PV is now in the Kazuma room. Soul Train is in Kalundu. ZTA is now in Gwai and no longer in the tent. I think you've heard about the technical site visits for tomorrow. There's a QR code that has been put up on the screen for the various activities. If you'd like to partake of any of those activities. Massive, massive golf tournament that's taking place tomorrow. That'll be hosted by the patron of the golf, the Honourable Vice President of Zimbabwe, Kembo Mahadi. So we urge you to be a part of that. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could please ask you to be upstanding for the national anthems of the African Union, SADC, and the national anthem of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Ladies and gentlemen, Tinoti Fambai Zwaganaka, go well, Hambani Kahle, bon voyage from Lindy, my co-MC, and my own behalf, Hugo Rebetika. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon and goodbye.